Hello everybody, this is Jeff Janess. Welcome to our 8th lab exercise in our general introduction to ArcGIS Pro. And in this lab exercise, we're going to learn how to use the Explore and the Measure tools. Both of these are extremely useful, very commonly used. And we've already used the Explore command before to help us zoom in and out of our map and pan it around. But we can also use it to learn about individual features in the map. And the Measure tool gives us a quick way to measure distances, areas, and directions just by clicking on the map. All right, let's get started. First off, we have to add a new map to our project. So it's the Insert tab, New Map. There it is. Now we have to add the Trails, Dry Lake Hills shapefile to our map. So that's the Map tab. Hit the Add Data button. We navigate to our Class GIS Data folder. Here it is. We're looking for the Dry Lake Hills folder, and we want the Trails, Dry Lake Hills shapefile. Hit OK. That pops it in there. All right, so we're almost ready to go. I just want to change the symbology real quick. Turns out it's pretty easy to change this to something that stands out a little more. You just click the little line over here in the Contents pane. It'll open up the symbology panel. I'm just going to change it to this ramp symbol. Just kind of makes it pop a little. All right, there we go. I also want to have the USA topo maps because we're going to use that to help us do some homework questions here. So hit the Add Data button. This time we go to the Portal section, we go to ArcGIS Online, and we search for USA Topo Maps. I'm going to take the map image layer, pop that in there, and I'm going to turn off the world imagery layer. We don't need that in there. All right, so here we are, looking good, ready to go. I think I'm actually going to make the USA topo maps a little bit lighter too, just so I can see the trails a little better. So I'm going to click the layer, go to tile layer, then I'll just set a transparency, maybe make it a 40%. They're a little less obtrusive there. All right, so first we want to zoom to the extent of Dry Lake Hills. So ArcPro already did that automatically when we added it, but this is how we do it. Going to use the Explore command to click on any of our trails. All right, so go to the Map tab. Here's the Explore. We're going to use that. And if you remember, we were using this before. We could right click and we could pan it around. We could left click and zoom in and out. Well, if you just use it to click on a feature, you're going to get information about that feature. So I click on this one. And I know that that's Schultz Creek Trail there. And this is the information that's recorded about Schultz Creek Trail. So we can do that with any of these and just get more information on all these features. Now this Explore command lets you do a few things. So if you click the little down arrow, this is where you specify which layer you want to query. You could actually query all the visible layers. If we had several layers here, we click on the feature, we get information on all the ones that were underneath it. We could do just the selectable layers or the selected layers. Selectable layers are the ones that we have checked in this little function here. But if we had like 40 layers in this contents pane, I could select a few of the layers, and then when I use the Explore function, I could say selected in contents, and it would only give me information on those layers that were selected. So it helps us kind of screen what we want to get information on. But in general, the Explore command is very good for getting information on features in the data set. Okay, now let's try out the Measure command. Here's the Measure command here. It measures all sorts of things. It measures lengths, areas, it gives you information about the size of a feature that you click on. So let's try it first by measuring distances. Click the little down arrow. I'm wanting to start by measuring distances, so we click this option, and a little measure window appears. Right now it's set to do planar units, so we're going to switch to geodesic because geodesic is more accurate. We're going to talk about the difference between these options when we get to our lecture on projections and datums. But in the meantime, geodesic is always the most accurate. Metric basically means it's going to be in meters if we're zoomed in and be kilometers if we're zoomed out. We can be more specific. We can tell it we always want it meters or kilometers, or we can go to the miles and feet and all that. Just for demonstration, I'm going to switch to miles real quick. You click on a spot, you move the mouse, and now you see the cumulative distance appearing right below the mouse as well as over in the measured distance panel. If I want, I can make a line that bends, so I can start clicking and it adds little corners, we call these vertices, and it's giving me the cumulative length in the measure distance panel, and it's giving me the length of each little segment that I click on as well in the list underneath. When I'm done, when I've got the whole thing outlined there, I just double click. And now this is the cumulative length, 7.05 miles. This 4.57 miles, this is actually the straight line distance from the beginning to the end point. It's not the length of the path itself. Then we have the length of each segment in this list over here on the left side. If I want a full report, I can click on this little copy results thing. Click on that, and it's copied to the computer memory. So now I open up a notepad or something, or whatever document that you are writing stuff into, Word document or something. And if I paste here, just right click and paste, it pastes all that information. So I get a full report on everything that I did there. All right. This button will clear it. Let me start over. Double click, it finishes it. I could actually make another one now. Double click and it finishes it. And so now I have both lines here. See? So that's how we calculate the distance of a line. Now we also want to try calculating the area of a polygon. So that's change this option to measure area. Again, we have these same options. Geodesic is always the most accurate. I'm going to calculate my area in square miles. So I'm just going to choose that specifically. And I'm going to zoom into one of these sections. Remember, these red lines here are section lines, and when they were designed, they're always supposed to be 1 square mile exactly. But they were surveyed out, and it was difficult to survey back in the last century when they were doing this. So a lot of times on the edges, they are a long way from a square mile. So I just want to know the area. I'm going to turn off drills, dry like kills right now because the mouse is snapping to it. So we click here. Just click here, go to the 4 corners here, double click to say we're done. And here's the total size, 0.9 square miles. It also gave us the lengths of the segments, the linear features, and we still had those set to be meters, so that's why it's given us these things in meters. But this is the number we're looking for. So this one was smaller than the original design. Okay, now let's try calculating the length of a feature. So let's turn these trails back on. So we already used the Explorer tool to click on something we get information about it, right? Well, that's great, but maybe I just specifically want to know the length of that feature. Well, we can use the Measure tool for that. We click the little down arrow and we do Measure Features. Choose that option. Now when I click on it, it tells me the length of that feature, and I can change the units. I can change that to miles. Click on it, and now it's 8.55 miles. And just go ahead and play with these things. Try some of the other options, like for example, if we want to know the direction between 2 points, I can choose that option. Right now, let's do, I guess we only have options for planar on this one, but go from here to here. So the direction is 229 degrees, while the distance is 2,500 meters. So that's about right. Remember, straight south is 180 degrees, straight west is 270, and so this is 229. That's pretty good. So go ahead and try some of these out. There's plenty of times when you want to know the distance between 2 points or the direction between 2 points, and this tool will do it for you. All right, for homework, I want to find out what the distance in meters using the planar method between these 2 points, the peak of Little Eldon Mountain to the high point next to the radio facility. So that's, let me clear our current stuff. So that's this point right here down to this point right here. So you just click on here and we have planar and metric selected. So just move the mouse down to that spot and then see what the correct distance is. All right, easy enough. And we also want to calculate the area in square miles using planar method of section 26. All right, so where is section 26? Let's use our Explorer tool to pan over. This is section 26. So turn that up. I'm going to turn off the trails for now. You see the number 26. So I want to find out the area in square miles of this polygon here. All right, so same way, you go to the measure, you choose the measure area, click on the corners. It's still set to, oh wait, we want to change this to planar. Planar, square miles. Just click on the corners, just like that. And you're seeing the square miles fill out up here, and you just click on that last corner and you'll see the true size of this. Just a hint, it's a little bit bigger than 1 square mile. All right, thanks so much, everybody. That'll do it for this one, and we'll see you in the next lab.